Good morning, y'all. We're up in the shop this morning, and so you can see it's a big old mess right now. Lots of projects going on, but I've owned this place for, I don't know, about 26 years or so, and in all that time I've never had heat in this shop. Usually if I got to do something up here during the winter, I got a little electric space heater, the wood burner. I make do. But as I'm getting older and as I'm having more projects that have to get done during the winter, it's I kind of want heat in here. So what I was perusing the internet one day and I saw this. This is a DR heater, infrared. They say it's an infrared. It's got coils in it, but 220 volt, so much more efficient than the little space heaters. And I saw that on Woot, which, if you don't know, woot.com, WOOT, is Amazon's overstock. Anyway, it was on there. It was a good price, and so I snatched one up. So doing a little research on it, it had good reviews and everything, but the one thing that most people didn't like was the thermostat that's built into it. But it does have the option to have an external thermostat, and so I went ahead and bought the Dr. Heater external thermostat. So what we're going to do is get this thing wired up and mounted up in the ceiling there. That's how these are supposed to be mounted, up in the ceiling. And get it wired up, and hopefully we'll have some good heat. So I already have some cable run here, and we'll be powering it with this 8-gauge SO cable. And then I've got this for the thermostat wiring. And basically this thing is going to hang right up in there. You'll see once I get the bracket hung and everything. And the wire is going to go back to the wall and over. The thermostat will drop down right here beside the door, and the power cable is going to come over and drop down to that plug for my welder. So that way we'll have 220 and we can just plug it in, because as you can imagine, yeah, my breaker box is slammed full. And my secondary breaker box is way over on the other side of the shop, so I'm not running cable from all the way over there. So we'll just run it over and plug it in, because I figure if I'm welding with the stick welder, it's probably warm enough that I'm not going to need the heater. So that's pretty much that. The heater, it comes with it's got a bracket that'll go on it like that, and then it came with that bracket to hang it from the ceiling. I got this nice piece of 2x4 out of my scrap wood to hang it from the joists up there, and we should be good to go. So first things first, I got this thing sitting over here, and I got to try to get it wired up, and then we'll once I hang it up there, I'll pull the cable back around. But I figured it'd be a whole lot easier to do it here than to hang it up there and then try to wire it with the damn compressor and shelves and everything else in the way. So we'll work on getting this thing wired up. It's pretty standard single phase 220, 2 hots and a ground, and then there's 2 down inside there. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. I don't know if it's focusing. Hopefully it is. But there's 2 terminals for the wiring for the thermostat. So I got a that'll go there, and then I got a drill in this little plate right here that covers this for the thermostat wiring to go in. So let me get all that started, and I'll bring you back. All right, y'all. So it occurs to me I did not tell y'all exactly what this is. So here's the information on it. It is a Dr. Heater 7,500 watt 240 volt wall or ceiling mounted garage heater, model DR975. Like everything, made in friggin' China. But what can you do? So we've got our wiring installed. I didn't film me wiring it because, well, to be honest with you, I'm not an electrician. I know electrical, and I used to be a multi-craft in a relay logic factory, so I know how to hook this stuff up. But yeah, I'm not going to put a video out there on the internet of me hooking up 220. So regardless, if you can follow the directions and you know enough to hook it up, if you don't, then you don't need to be doing it anyways. Electricity is dangerous. So we got the wiring, it's hooked up. This is our power. The yellow is going to go to our thermostat. So this bracket's on here. I just got it kind of hand tight right now because we'll have to aim everything once we get it up there. And I got the 2x4 that's going to be hung up in the rafters. I got my two little spots marked that I need to drill for a 3/8 bolt. So we got a, I believe it's an X, number X drill bit here. You drill these holes real quick, and we'll be ready to bolt up the bracket to it once we get it up in the air there. So now we got our bolt holes drilled, and we'll climb up on the ladder and hang this up there and hang the hanging bracket from it, and I'll be right back. All right, so we got our bracket up there. You can see it on that board there. And now we've got to pick this up there, hang it on that bracket, and put a bolt through it. So it comes with a bolt. I had to supply my own for hanging the bracket itself, but for putting the bolt on the there. Oh my God. For hanging the heater on the bracket, it comes with a bolt. You're going to need a 17mm wrench for it. Wrench in the socket. So let's see what's going to happen. Let me try to ease this up there. This thing's not super heavy, but it's also not super light either. And of course we got power cable to deal with, which isn't that big a deal, but everything adds up. So get this up here. Bolt through it. I should put the nut on that, or washer. All right. All right, now that we've got that hung, I'm going to ease over here and start pulling this wiring back through, hopefully without knocking everything down. And because we want it kind of aimed down into the shop instead of up into the roof, we've done that. So now that's all golden right there. Yeah, that looks pretty good right there. And you'll notice I left that 2x4 up there. It's not really, it's just gravity holding it there. It sticks out far enough on each end that I don't have to bolt it down to keep it there. And the reason I left it loose is because that way there's only so much movement in this bracket. And that way I can, because I can already see that I'm going to want this just a little bit more this direction, like that. So, yep, perfect. Just exactly what I wanted. So now, we'll take that wiring up there and run it along the top of that wall with the rest of that wiring, courtesy of our good friend the zip tie. And we'll bring it over here, and the little yellow wire will run down the wall right here and put our thermostat somewhere in here. And the big cable we'll bring over here and drop down on the other side of that old speaker up there, right on down here to the plug, and we'll be golden. So let me get some stuff moved around where I can get up there to it, because I need to get up there, but all this is here. And I'll be back. All right, y'all. Well, I was hoping to finish this today, but I keep getting called away for other stuff. So, we're going to have to call it here, and we'll come back tomorrow and finish it up in the morning. But we've got that hung. We've got the wires run along the top of the wall there. We got the one wire coming down right here for the thermostat, which is going to be mounted up right there. Now, normally I would mount it lower, but I wanted to mount it up there so that it'd be out of the way and not catching on stuff. So then the rest of the cable comes down around down here, and we got to wire it up to a plug. Wire up the thermostat, and we'll be done. But that'll be a tomorrow problem. So we'll be back tomorrow. All right, good morning, y'all. So I came up this morning and I wired up the thermostat and the plug going into the welding receptacle for this. And I would have filmed that. Well, I thought I was filming it, but apparently the batteries for the GoPro do not like the cold. So we got all that wired up. Now, one thing about this heater is apparently, even with the thermostat hooked up, you still have to use this remote control to turn it on. So there it's on. Oh yeah, I can already feel heat blowing out of that thing. That is nice. So I'm assuming, because the directions that come with this thing are pretty sparse, but apparently if you've got the internal thermostat in that heater, if you're using it, then you use the remote control to adjust the temperature. So I think the little 42 on here, since we're using the external thermostat, I believe that's the ambient temperature. We'll know here in a minute as this thing runs. It's not quite as cold in here as it could be because I had this little space heater running. So we'll let this thing run for a few minutes and then and warm up, and I'll bring you back and we'll see if that's changed and kind of review how well this thing heats the shop up. So we'll be back with that. All right, so this thing's been running for maybe 40 minutes. And we've gone from 42 to 50 on its internal thermostat. It's definitely warming the shop up. So I would say that is a success. Now, keep in mind, I live in South Carolina, and our idea of cold here is probably a little different than if you lived in some place like Wisconsin. So I don't know how this thing would work if you live someplace like that. And I have a pretty big shop too. So it's going to take a while for this thing to warm the whole shop up. But that's going to do far better than what I've been doing, which is, you know, using little space heaters and freezing my tail off. So that's that. It's a Dr. Heater DR975. And like I said, I got it off of Woot, which is Amazon's overstock. But they got them on Amazon. You can buy them other places. They got bigger ones too. I just figured the little small one would be plenty enough to knock the chill off in the shop here in South Carolina. So, appreciate y'all watching. Hopefully this has helped y'all out, or at least entertained you a little bit. And we'll see you in the next video. Y'all have a good one.